bushwhacking day. Bushcrafts. Should be interesting. We're going to get really muddy and dirty.
They decided to team.
And the brick house ditched them both. So they made 3 houses just because they could.
What, the 3 little pigs?
Yeah.
They can hang
the 2, the
washing
straw and the
over
sticks decided to team up.
They can hang their washing
Thus
over
these
this.
things were born.
They can hang their.
And the brick houses ditched them.
Once we've got the main frame up, then what we can actually do is we can go into the ground and draw a line on the outside of that and go down to the bottom, and then anything that's on that line and on the ridge will stay in that plane. Okay. It's a good idea to have them slightly pointing up so they don't slide down, and there's no fixed distance between them. You don't, as a guide though, you don't want to have your hand going through easily. Certainly not a hand span like that. A little bit less as a distance there. Okay. Right. Okay. You put the sticks down there, Rocky. Okay. Otherwise, people will end up getting in the face. Okay. So that's that. If I just put those down for a minute, then we can just very quickly look how we can make sure that this is safe. The bottom, we've chosen wood that we're confident with. It's a nice bit of oak, and it's fairly freshly cut. Yeah. And that's been just scuffed properly into the ground. Yeah, so it's not going to fall that way. Doesn't need rocks or anything like that. Just make sure it's properly in the ground, not just in soft bedding. And a good top tip is to get 2 nice strong forks that are at an angle that mean that the pole doesn't quite reach the bottom, and that way it will like grip it. You don't want it to be too fat, otherwise this is leverage and it's going to highlight the weak point of the fork. Have it low down, yeah, and then get them crossed over. You can sometimes get them to cross over like that, but you're trying to grip the ridge, and sometimes this will stop it gripping, and the number one thing is to get them to grip the ridge. Yeah. So having them together like so, slightly off the vertical, so it's propping it up, and again just slightly scuffed in the ground. And then get the camera, come on, pose shot. Rules for the sake of rules. Some rules are there that's good, and some things on paper sound good, but actually in practice they're not. And here's an example. Okay, we've decided that's good and safe, and in fact this will settle. The more weight goes on it, the more it'll settle and become strong. However, you might have another forked branch. So you think, great, let's get some more forked branches in. But we've now weakened the structure. But on paper it sounds good, doesn't it? More forked branches, got to be stronger. Not as simple as that. So, choose good wood, okay, and trust it. So forks, fine, but don't expect and don't prop them up very much. Okay, so is that making sense? It's not too complicated, is it? What I want you to do then, because this shelter, a lot of these shelters have been here for ages. Okay, the top one in the camp, the top one over there, is now 6.5 years old. It'll be 7 in August. Okay, and it's still working really well. Okay, now then, what you need to do is find a bit of ground, not too far away, it's not carrying stuff, but you need to check that we've not got any roots or old stumps or anything, because people won't sleep in them, and most courses on here, people stay in them. So if they're not much good, it will be the first one that gets taken down. And I want you to build a shelter, which I'm going to say, that will stay probably for a good while. Yeah? So, find a good site, not too far away, just in this sort of, fairly immediate area. You'll need loads. Okay? Jam it down and get in the biggest amount of bracken you ever did see.
Oh, you're put one side. I'm being attacked! Let's dig brambles we go. They're not brambles. Yes, I know. Right, where is it? I have no idea. Oh, I found one. This is quite a bit. Make us squeeze. I want.
If you've got a fairly big shelter and you've got some really nice bracken, don't waste it all down the bottom. The principle of thatching is that you start low and work up, but start lowish and work up is actually the most efficient for a shelter this size. So you get a bundle, you've got some nice bundles here. So try and keep them fairly tight. Okay, we're not just chucking these on, we're looking for somewhere like there where we can get a sensible bundle underneath, but it's going to trap. Now you need to keep it though in this line. It doesn't want to go in and then come down. We want to create flat areas. Yeah, and if the very bottom bits are touching, that's great because it means it's starting to be effective from about this section. So work your way along, then you work your way along again on the top, and then we'll look at the very top. Is that making sense? Okay, the more care and attention, the more effective this shelter